In this video, I'll show you how to add a attribute checkbox on your WooCommerce store. Let's get straight into it. For example, I'll show you how to add a checkbox option similar to this one, so the customer can quickly select the attribute in which they require for their purchase, and then they can just add it to their basket. If you want to create a similar setup on your WooCommerce store, the first step is to head over to aovup.com. Go ahead and download the variation swatches plugin. I'll leave a link in the description below. And with that being said, let's head over to our dashboard. So the first thing we need to do is install the aovup variation swatches plugin. So I'm going to install the free version and the pro version. Let's switch these to on. Okay, so now that we've got the variation swatches plugin by aovup activated, the next step is to go ahead and create our attributes. So we'll navigate over to products and then attributes. If you've already got your attributes created, then you can skip this step. I'll leave everything timestamped in the description below. So I'm going to add a new attribute. This time I'm going to call it fabric, and then just click add attribute. We'll add our attribute terms here. Okay, so the first fabric will be wool. Click add fabric, and then we'll put cotton. Okay, and that looks fine. Now let's go ahead and add these attributes to a product, and then we'll go ahead and enable our attribute checkbox. So let's navigate over to products. I'm going to edit this variable product. Now let's go attributes, and let's add a new attribute. This time we'll add our fabric attribute. And then I'm just going to select all the attribute terms, right? So we want cotton and wool. And we just need to make sure we enable this option where it says use for variation. Let's hit save attributes. Now let's go over to variation. And here I'm just going to generate the variation based on the attributes that we've selected. Let's hit OK. I'm going to delete these free variation that was already there. Okay, now let's go ahead and add a regular price to all the attributes, and we're just going to keep things super simple, and we'll say $25, right? Regardless which attribute selection they choose. Let's hit update. Okay, now let's view our product. Okay, so this isn't the best user experience. We just want to speed things up. So now we're going to enable our attribute checkbox. Okay, now let's navigate over to aovup, and then we'll click on variation swatches. So we want to enable this option where it says enable radio button swatch. So let's enable this option, and then we get to choose which attribute we want to transform into a select box. So for example, maybe you only want to transform the fabric attribute into a radio swatch, and then we can hit save. Okay, so now when we refresh this page, here we can see this select box option, and we can enable it also for these other two attributes. Okay, so let's head back over to our dashboard and let's enable it for the color swatch. Okay, so maybe for the color swatch, we'll turn this into a color swatch and we'll enable it for the size attribute. So let's enable our color swatch here and let's select this color attribute. So now we need to, since this is a color attribute, we need to configure the colors for each attribute term. So we just select configure items here, and I'll just open it in a new tab. So for example, we've got our blue, green, red, and yellow. So again, I'm just opening these in a new tab. So for blue, we'll select the color here. It's update. And then I'll do the same for gray. Okay, so we can just X everything off once it's saved. Okay, so let's hit save changes here. And now let's refresh this page. Okay, and now we've got our color attribute. So customers can quickly select which items they want, right? So we can quickly choose here and then just add it to our basket. Okay, so the styling as well will depending on your theme. So you might need to tweak the styling slightly. But this is essentially how you'll go ahead and add a attribute checkbox on your WooCommerce store. Like and subscribe for more videos like this. And if you've got any questions, leave it in the comment box.